Okay, we're now looking at the Cool Edit screen, and if we look towards the lower left corner of the window, we can see the transport controls, which we'll discuss in a bit more detail in a short while. And just to the right of that, we can see the cursor time display. If we go into the main Cool Edit window itself, on the very left hand side, you'll see there's a dotted yellow line that runs vertically down the side of the screen there, with a yellow arrow at the top and at the bottom. This is what's known as the start marker. It's important to note that playback and recording always begins from the start marker location. Now there will be instances where you want your playback or recording to start not necessarily at the very beginning of the waveform, but perhaps some way into it. And in order to do that, you will need to reposition the start marker. Take your mouse pointer, position it where you want the start marker to be, and if you left click, and as you can see the yellow line has moved there, and on the cursor time display it shows the position of the start marker. Anything we play back or record at this point will start where that marker is located. It's also important to be aware that if you were to click on the record button, the red dot in the transport controls, you'll find that anything you subsequently record will overwrite what was previously recorded in the waveform. So do be very careful not to accidentally record over or overwrite information that you intend to keep or use. Now, having looked at that, the next thing we're going to look at is what are known as cue markers. Cue markers can be very useful as they allow you to identify specific points within your recording, perhaps when you move to a different speaker, so you can easily identify them later on. And the way to insert a cue marker is to position your mouse pointer at the location where you want to insert a cue mark, and if you then press the F8 button, as you can see on the screen here, the start marker has appeared there, and it's also at the top of the screen you'll see Q1 has appeared. If I click to another location and press F8, Q2 and then Q3 and Q4 have all been created. Having created cue markers, what I can also do is I can reposition them, and the way to do this first of all is click on the start marker, the yellow arrow, and just drag it to a slightly different location so that I can see all of the available cue markers. And if I left click and hold on the red arrow, I can drag the cue marker left or right and position it exactly as I require. Once I release the left mouse button, the cue marker then stays in the position that I've left it at. If I wish to delete a cue marker, first of all I right click on it, and from the list of options that appears I left click on delete. As you can see, cue marker 3 has now been deleted from the waveform.